Hi, and welcome to Backyard Healing. Today we get to kick off the first episode of Backyard Healing with author Michelle Manon. I am combining Backyard Healing with Rojas Publishing. Michelle is not only a good friend, she has also been my client with Rojas Publishing, and today we're going to get to talk about This Too Shall Pass. Backyard Healing was created with the intent of interviewing authors, future authors, in a safe and relaxing environment. As you can see, my backyard, hint, hint for the name. So today we're very excited that we're going to be speaking all things This Too Shall Pass. Michelle, so what was the decision, the title, of course, This Too Shall Pass? What was the meaning behind the memoir this time? I know this is your third book.
For me, the title This Too Shall Pass is a way of me telling myself that no matter what's happening or what I'm going through, it's a reminder that remember everything you went through, and just like then, this too shall pass. And the book itself is a follow-up of my first memoir, Finding My Way. When I first wrote that, I got a lot of feedback and people were telling me, we want more. You were very vague. We need to hear how you healed. How did this happen? They just wanted specific details that I thought I revealed in the first book, and I guess I didn't. So the second book was dig deeper, evaluate yourself, your situations, and just write everything without holding back. And the goal was to do my shadow work in real time. And it was kind of like my therapy it was self-therapy.
I like that. And you definitely did dig deep. And I'm not going to get too much into the book because you can find the book on Amazon. You can find it in Michelle's website, and you could also find it at barnesandnobles.com. So make sure that you grab your copy. You will not be disappointed. So I want to say, I was really honored that you had me write the foreword because it just kind of brought us back to thinking about how we've known each other since the 80s.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? How time flies.
And we knew about so many things that we were running around doing, right, in high school, junior high school. But we didn't know that intimate part that we both hid so well.
Yeah, because I didn't find out about yours until I read Parenting from Broken Pieces.
Yes, so we were very good at masking and hiding, and we'll get into that a little bit later because I know that we want to kind of talk about our cultural upbringing and how well we did with hiding. So I have some questions.
I'm ready.
I'm not going to give too much away again. So I'm going to read an excerpt because in your intro page, you wrote, "For many years, I allowed others to determine how I should be treated instead of setting the bar for how I'm supposed to be treated. I settled for less because I thought a little was better than nothing. I silenced my voice because I didn't want to make waves in relationships. I adapted and dimmed my light to make others comfortable." How has putting yourself last or diminishing who you were showed up throughout the rest of your journey?
I have so many aspects to say about that. First of all, I didn't have a voice then. I just went with the flow, had no boundaries. And I think that all goes back to my upbringing, my mom's generation. I guess we'll touch on that later. But how it's shown up, I didn't start asserting myself till pretty recently, maybe 3-4 years ago. Before that, it came up everywhere: relationships, friends, work, social settings, simple things with mother-daughter relationship, me and my sons. I think that I was conditioned to behave and react a certain way in certain situations, and I brought what I learned as a teen into my adulthood. And a lot of the behaviors that I was demonstrating were not appropriate, and not appropriate like off. They were just defense mechanisms, trauma responses, defensiveness. But they were normal to me. This is how this is just how I'm supposed to react. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to be ride or die. It was just things I thought this is how I'm supposed to be living. And it wasn't up until recently that I started learning to love myself, to assert myself, to not accept certain behaviors or certain situations and not go with the flow. And I don't have to be ride or die for everybody. The ride or die is supposed to be for only the people that ride or die with you. And I didn't have that boundary before. And the one thing that I've learned through that journey is that there's a big difference between that Michelle and this Michelle. And this Michelle is grieving for the old Michelle because she just allowed things to happen. She allowed the flow to go and she went with it, and she led her life according to what other people, their beliefs and what they wanted to do with their lives. And I didn't set boundaries for myself. And now that I am doing that, I see so clearly when I see it in other people. I see it so clearly in my own backstory, where I went wrong, what I didn't do. I see it when I see other people, what they're doing wrong. And the big thing for me was there were no boundaries. There were no standards. There was no dreaming. There was just going with the flow. And when you just go with the flow, you just remain idle and you let everybody do whatever they want to you. Because you're just trying to find validation in yourself, and you find it through external things.
I like that you said that. Like you said idle, right? And when we are setting boundaries, right, it's like the boundary thing is such a huge thing for so many people.
Yeah.
And when you're changing and you're evolving, and you said the Michelle that was there versus the Michelle now. And that was going to be my next question to you. Where is Michelle today in 2020 as it pertains to the era you described at the beginning of the book? Because here's the thing, and I've said this before, we start early on in life with luggage, and we carry that luggage as we go through life, as we go through teens, as we become young adults, as we become mothers, as we become wives, as we become girlfriends. And that luggage starts to get heavy.
Yeah, very heavy.
When we are not doing that work inside.
But you have to know you need to do that work. If you don't know, you just keep carrying that luggage.
You have to unpack that luggage as you're going. But how many of us don't unpack that luggage to where now in later years?
Yeah.
And how many don't know how to unpack that luggage?
Or are ashamed to unpack the luggage.
Yes, and there's shame. There's so many things. So where is Michelle now pertaining to that old Michelle?
This Michelle now, like I said, is grieving for the old Michelle. And there are good days and there are bad days. And she is grieving for the old Michelle because this wise, older, knowledgeable, educated Michelle wants to comfort, wants to protect, wants to set boundaries for that girl, wants to pull her out of certain situations that aren't happening now, but did happen then. I don't know how to explain it, but I kind of want to be a protector of my past at the same time as letting it go. And the two things that tie together everything was standards and boundaries for me. I didn't have any standards and I didn't have any boundaries. And I'm just starting to set boundaries. I started maybe 2-3 years ago, completely have failed, and that's what I'm currently working on, because when we have relationships, whether they're friends, romantic, or family, people get used to where you were then. Some people don't evolve or grow, or you maintain these relationships where you think that we're supposed to stay the same and we don't grow. And where you were 10 years ago, that's where you are right now. So the minute I start setting a boundary, or I say something, I'm uncomfortable with something, or I don't want to do something, I'm getting a lot of backlash, a lot of friendships are getting severed, a lot of avoidant behavior from people, because I guess people are not used to the Michelle that is assertive, the Michelle that says what she wants, the Michelle that I'm going to tell you if I don't like something now. I mean, I'm not 100% great with communication yet. That's something I'm working on, and that's my downfall. But I grew up in a home where, I'm Hispanic, I'm Puerto Rican. My mom comes from an era where you're a lady, you're a woman, you're supposed to just sit there and look pretty. You don't really voice your opinion. You're not the alpha. Your spouse is the alpha. Even in your work setting, you're not an alpha. You're just supposed to be this, you're supposed to have this demeanor to you that I think now as an adult, I don't think I ever had that feminine, calm, soft demeanor. And I've struggled with that because there are certain societal standards that I'm not meeting. And when I stand up for myself or I'll set a boundary, people are objecting that.
And people have a tough time when it comes to boundaries. And
Big
you
time.
and I have had discussions about that.
Yeah.
People get upset.
Yeah, people are getting very
And
angry.
we are adults. I think that, having conversations, if something is bothering you in this age, we shouldn't be getting into an argument if I'm telling you I'm not comfortable with something, and we can be adults about it without losing a friendship, right? I think a lot of folks need to work on that. One thing that I'm going to say is, you mentioned something about the Hispanic, the way that we grew up. See, my parents come from Dominican descent, and it was always, aquí no se habla, baja la voz. Everything stays in the family. You have to kind of dim yourself, like you said, right? So we were conditioned to dim ourselves, right? And now it's like, no, I would not do that.
Yeah. And
I won't teach my children how to do that. Because when you're dimming yourself, we've learned abuse comes in, we're quiet, we have been muted again, right? And the era now, we were saying that the era now, the young ladies now, the women that are out there that are so growing up, they're so fearless, right? And it's like
goal-oriented,
yes,
powerful.
And I love everything about that. I am so I follow some young girls and I'm like, wow, I admire that.
I wish I was like that.
Yes, I admire that. I wish when I was in my 20s, I was so outspoken. Boundaries would have been set a long time ago.
Big time.
I think with the struggling of boundaries, like you said, I think that's a huge thing that a lot of us struggle with that. We come to believe, and I've known that I struggle with even telling people, right? If you change, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, you set a boundary, or you're not the same, you think you're better than it. No, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's a standard now.
Yeah.
You can't do the things that you do to other people with me. So that makes you feel, because I know throughout the book you talked a lot about that Michelle that was always being walked on.
Yeah. And the message I wanted to get across when I was elaborating on these moments with different people, I wanted people to understand how little things you do due to your insecurities can be detrimental to someone else. I don't always say it, but I hashtag it, be kind. And I'm learning that now. It's real important to be kind to people because you don't know what people are going through. You just don't know where people's mental state is. And I feel that some people come into your life and their insecurities affects their relationship with you. And they project everything on you. And it's supposed to be your responsibility to take this on and just take it like your target practice. And then you're supposed to walk away confident and keep moving in life. And I did do that. And I want to call that part of my survival mode. And that killed me emotionally, psychologically, for so many years, just trying to make other people happy. And people treated me horribly. And I'm not just talking about men, I'm talking about women. The women is the worst. And now as an older, wiser woman, smarter, more educated, I try not to come into situations judging, which is hard because I'm very judgmental. But I think that when you come into a situation where you just judge women and you're already insecure, you're going to come in with some hate. You're going to come in with some negativity. And then you're going to project it on that person. And then that person has to leave the room with their light dim just a little bit more. On top of whatever's happening in their world. But I don't think people get that. And that's where the be kind, like just be kind. Just
be kind. You don't know what battle someone is going through. And especially women. Some women, because I shouldn't say all women, some women having a hard time with that because they're still trying to do their work.
Yeah.
And some
are acting like they're doing the work.
Absolutely. And some are on the fence with their work.
Yeah.
And you can see it because a lot of things are projected. But But like you said, be kind. That's all. That's simple. Such a simple statement.
Or get comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations, because I'm still struggling with that. I do have a problem having uncomfortable conversations with not alpha females, but just narcissistic. I'm going to say narcissistic people. I'm still struggling with that. And I just think that when people read the book, you're going to see how little things people said or did kind of broke me in little pieces. Every time it was like a little dent. People take a little piece of you every time they do something negative, and I don't think people realize that. I think they think, oh yeah, I got one on her. Oh yeah, I hope I hurt her feelings, because technically you're broken yourself. That's why you're breaking people.
Yes.
But every time you do that, it's a little dent you do in someone's soul.
And hurt people.
Always.
All the time.
That took me a long time to learn. Because I used to think something was wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. Okay, maybe she doesn't like me because something's wrong with me. I'm coming in here. Am I acting too? This is her space. Or maybe I should tone it down, bring myself down, dumb myself down a little bit. Let me not look so confident. It was like a role, and so many situations in so many years that the self-confidence just kept going down and down and down. But the act, I knew how to act. And I think I learned that at home with my mom, because my mom was a great presenter of acting like everything was together, perfect home. We got it was a 2-parent household. We're perfect. And we weren't. And I think looking back while I was doing my work, I believe that came from seeing my mom project this image. And I hate that because now I try not to project an image, but I feel like people expect an image from me.
And those expectations can
they're
kind
killers.
of bring back from the
killers.
work that you're
they're
doing.
Killers. They're killers. And I like to conquer a fear or conquer certain things every day. They're little things that people take advantage of every day, but for me, they're big things. And like something like this, a year ago, I would have to come flashy. Hair's done, something nice on. I got to come in #1 stunner. And now it's like, this is the happiest. After doing my work and actually putting my work on paper and, seeking counseling and going through therapy, many, many years of therapy. And on top of some relationships I had that I learned my mistakes. Once you do your work, like, people don't understand the freedom, how great you feel on the other side. And this is the happiest I've been, the most comfortable with myself. I can come here. I mean, I have my hair down, but I'm comfortable. A hoodie, some sweatpants. I mean, I have the lipstick on because, I have to. It's my signature thing, but...
You have to have the lipstick on.
Yeah, but...
But I get what you're saying, that whole full face full of makeup, right?
It's
that
a
we
front.
hide. Yes.
It's a front.
And being comfortable, and I could resonate with that, because at my comfortable is when I am dressed down.
Yeah,
I have to
me
wear a
too.
suit every day to work and things like that, and I'm uncomfortable. And it's just, some people, image is everything.
Image is everything.
And when you can say, I don't care what I look like.
Yeah, but I still struggle with that. And for me, what I kind of like to...
I think we all do. I think we all struggle with that. Yeah, I think we all struggle with that. But like you said, that self-awareness that you have, had it been a year ago to now...
Oh, no. Yeah.
That's work. And you've done that work.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself.
And you have to pat yourself in the back, because we don't do that.
Yeah, that's hard for me too. Patting myself in the back, celebrating myself, accepting compliments. Super, super hard. Because you've been told for so many years that you're... Not that you've been told... You've been in situations where you were made to feel worthless, or you don't bring anything to the table, or there's no value to you. And it wasn't strategic. It wasn't done in a way where we're going to do this to you on purpose. It was done subliminally and passive aggressively. And it broke my spirit slowly, although I knew I had to keep an act on. And that's why I say that I like to put up pictures with filters, and I like to put up pictures of looking glamorous and beautiful, because I kind of want people to see that somebody you think has it together, and oh, she's so beautiful, and that person could be so fucked up, but they're putting up a front.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like my little goal and my little engine that could. I want people to see that it doesn't matter what the person looks like on the outside. The person could be just a walking dead person inside, and you're thinking this person is, oh my God, she's got everything together, she's so beautiful, and she's got a husband, and she's got kids, and no, people are really broken and they're acting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just walk through life believing these fronts and not reading between the lines, you're not being a supportive friend. There were so many clues and so many situations that someone could have helped me. And I'm not really talking about like you or anybody personal. I don't mean it like that. I mean it in a way where school was number one when I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
I had a teacher that knew what I was doing. He could have told it. Now that would never fly.
No.
It was school. It was when an adult would take me to their house and the whole family knew me. No one questions, what is this adult doing with this minor? When you're in a setting and you see a family and you see the woman acting a little timid, these are cues that maybe you should pull it to the side, or in another setting, hey, no one did that. I mean, my mom attempted, but it wasn't appropriate the way she was doing it. And my hope in writing this book is that people are aware of their actions, the words they say. Just watch how you treat people and pay attention to clues and cues, and even a word of encouragement could help somebody.
Absolutely.
You could be having a bad day, and one word of encouragement, it's like, wow, you put a smile on my face. That's just a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Lights a spark inside you. I don't know if you notice that when you smile, it's like a spark is lit inside you.
It's just the little things.
Yeah.
It's the little things that a lot of us take for granted.
Yeah.
And it can mean so much to someone else.
Yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm. So many gems in this book that I wish we can sit here and go throughout the whole book, but then we're giving away too much.
Mm-hmm.
So something that really struck me was and I know that this is a deep one. So in chapter 3, you stated, Eric was a breath of fresh air after Fernando died. I clung to him after Fernando passed away. He became a part of my numbing process. I did not take a time out and work on myself after Fernando's sudden death. Instead, I tried to replace him with someone. For me, Eric diminished the pain and sadness. I thought I could throw myself in a new relationship and replace my lost. Unfortunately, relationships are not replaceable like light bulbs. I really like that. They cannot be duplicated with the flicks of a switch either. How you and Eric met after the loss of a very special person in your life. You stated he was part of your numbing process. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah.
Take a moment. I know this is a lot. And that was a deep.
Yeah. Technically, I met Eric when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a romantic relationship. He was used to women throwing themselves at him. He was used to women giving themselves to him first, second date. That was just how he rolled, and that was the kind of women that flocked to him. I wasn't like that. So he got turned off by that, and what we had diminished, and he went his way, I went mine. And I didn't hear from him for about 10 or 11 months after that on my birthday. And he called, wanted to hang out. I hung out with him. I didn't think anything of it because I really wasn't feeling him, because I didn't like the fact that, oh, you're not digging me because I'm not giving you some. And that was a standard. So you see, you set a standard. He didn't like it, walked off. Which kind of teaches you that, oh, I have to do this for people to like me. Mm-hmm. Nothing came about it even after the birthday call. I just knew he was accessible to me. Fernando passed away, and to make a long story short, the night he was buried, I got wasted. I went to the funeral, got wasted after, called him, and said, hey, I'm ready to start something. Let's do this. And that night, we became intimate, which if you really look back and think about it, is not appropriate behavior if you're grieving. One, I turned to drugs and alcohol. Decided to have intercourse with someone. It was like a lot of destructive behaviors in one night. And it was kind of like a changing of the guards. This abuser is gone. This abuser / mentor is gone. This abuser / mentor is now taking over. But I didn't know that then. And how I clinged on and leaned on Fernando, Eric took this role now. And I've learned that I have a type, and I gravitate to the same people the majority of the time. And they're usually alpha males, men that are in control, men that are, they see things in me that I don't see. It's not that they're taking advantage of me. They're much older than me. And they groom me. So I'm not sure if that's like a pedophile. Like I don't really want to say that because that's not how it felt to me. So I was already groomed by the experience at 14 with Rico. Then I was groomed with the experience with Fernando. And the night that he died, like I said, it was a changing of the guards. He took over. And he kind of became my new teacher, my new Yoda, if that explains it. And the same behaviors and the same risk factors and the same toxicity, it was like I replaced it. And I didn't take time off, and I didn't have anybody like supporting me emotionally. I knew I had to change my life and get away from the people that I knew because there was a lot going on then. So I just removed myself, and I did it on my own. I removed myself from the setting and went into a different setting, but with a new abuser and a new mentor and a new person that was now grooming me.
That's deep.
And that was pivotal in my life, because if I had a good support system or people guiding me, or because it's not nobody's responsibility to guide you technically, but I was already lost. I think that I would not have fell in that hole that night, because that night opened up a whole new Pandora's box for me.
Would you say, I hear you when you say if you had that guidance, sometimes when we're at a very early age in life, and I can say this speaking from experience, you may have people that want to interject, but you're so clouded, your vision, and you're so in love that you're not listening to that little voice that's telling you this isn't good for you.
Yeah, because I remember you used to tell me that. I don't know if you remember. And I think that's where me and you went different ways, because you were changing, you were more positive, you were doing more things the right way, and I wasn't. And that was the last time I saw you too at his funeral. So it's pivotal, and it's a full circle moment that was the last time I saw you. You were like a positive person in my life, and everything went downhill, and now we're here.
Isn't that crazy?
But I don't want to cry. But yeah, people tried, and I'm super, super hard-headed, and I was stuck in my world, and I was stuck in, oh, you're going to school now? I was a little jealous, and I wanted to figure out how you changed, and damn, like how did she turn herself around? Because I feel like I can't. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, if I remove myself from this setting, I'll get it together. But I was still taking the negative baggage with me. You can't just remove yourself from a setting.
No.
You have to do the work. And I wasn't ready to do the work. I was watching other people change, and I'm thinking, oh, like you said, people start thinking you bougie, people start thinking, and that's what she's in a different place. Oh, no, I'm not messing with them. No. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. I'm still doing this. This is what's going to get me ahead. And technically it didn't. It spiraled out of control.
And I think everybody's journey is we all each have our own journeys, mm-hmm. right? And we get to where we need to go according to the way that our journey's set up. But I also want to say, like, in that era with you, that, and you said that emotional baggage and the things that you were bagging and were coming with you, you weren't ready to do your work at that time. You weren't ready.
No, I needed somebody to do some scared straight shit to me.
And some of us learn that way, right? Some of us are more with the fire, like the fire when I left, when I went somewhere else, I went to college. I knew that I had to get out of the environment, get better to come back and help and reach back and bring my family with me, right? Mm-hmm. And that kind of thing. And the whole dysfunctional thing, I wanted to get away from it, right? We thrive on different environments. And I think that when you said the guard, one guard came, one left, another one came in, you saw that as your opportunity.
I saw it.
As an opportunity to grow. But it turned out, and I don't want to give away too much because I'm going to definitely stop with the questions. We don't want to give away too much. We need you to really get the book, and you're going to see that pivotal point from there, how that turned out and where Michelle is at now, right? Yeah. Because that was a big moment in your life, and that was a big piece of the book, turning from that point to where you're at now. So we're going to let our readers make sure that they pick up the book and dive in.
Click the link in the bio.
Yes. Click the link in the bio, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, the author website. That's where you can get the book, and you can, from there, see how Michelle's journey turned around.
Deep breath.
I don't even want to wrap this up. This has been like, we're just sitting here having a conversation, catching up on old times. What's next for Michelle?
That's why I brought this along. I am working on a collaboration book called We Heal, which is your She Heal franchise. And for the people that follow me, if you did read Finding My Way and you're reading This Too Shall Pass, We Heal is the follow-up. My topic is healing from infidelity. So when you get to the end of This Too Shall Pass, you'll see what was my breakthrough in starting to do my inner work. And We Heal is me telling you how this infidelity and healing from infidelity helped me continue the work that I was doing with myself. So that you see that healing from infidelity is not just the act, the sexual act or the betrayal. It's deeper. And I elaborate on that in We Heal. And
I'm so glad that you are part of the conversation with We Heal.
I love this cover
because
so
I
much.
think it's so important that, I found with She Heals, continuing that conversation and now being inclusive, right? And having it from the male's perspective. So I know that you're going to be doing so many more amazing things. I know that you have another book in the works.
Yeah.
You have a journal that you're working on. So many great things. And it's such a pleasure to see your growth and to even have you here with me today. Thank you for supporting me.
Thank you for creating this platform for everyone. I don't think everyone really understands how valuable what you're doing is. I don't even think you know.
I think it's so much bigger than me.
It's way bigger
but
than me.
I definitely appreciate it because I think the vulnerability, for you to be able to share your vulnerability, that takes a lot of courage. And I commend you for that. Because like you said, a year ago, this wouldn't be Michelle.
No.
And the growth, and I cannot even wait till next year to sit here and see where Michelle is at next year.
I know. And I want to thank you because I would have never have done this work if I didn't read Parenting from Broken Pieces. It's a story and it has little prompts, like journal prompts. And it was me not being able to do those journal prompts. It wasn't necessarily the stories in parenting. It was the journal prompts that started turning some wheels and made me realize that, wow, you have not done your work. You have been on survival mode. And seeing you become an author and seeing you do the things that you've done, you're like an example of what, if she's doing it, anybody can do it. Like, we can all do this.
Absolutely.
You just have to. The difference between you and someone else is action.
Absolutely.
And I don't think people see that.
I say that all the time. We can all, and keeping the conversations going because they're taboo in our culture. And the work that we're doing, we're setting it up for the future generations. I think that it's a compliment when someone is able to share with you their story, their secrets, right? Because we're opening up those closets and just those skeletons are falling out, right? Kind of thing. And seeing the value in that and being able to say, I need to do my work. That's big.
That takes strength.
That takes a lot of strength. So, my love, I applaud you. And if I had a hat, it will go off to you. But I am very proud of you. And I thank you for taking part in this segment, the beginning of it, to kick it off. I can't wait to see future segments that we will be having, but I am really, really grateful and honored that Michelle decided to sit down with me today. I hope that you all understand that doing your work and healing, because it's a healing journey that we're all on, it's so important for your growth. Thank you for watching.